Hey guys, it is the DevGabe here. So you guys are making a GUI system or a GUI shop system first, let's say, and you are seeing that whenever you go on a different device. So if I go into test and device emulator, you can see that the frame of that device would probably be not on the center of the screen. And I could show you as an example right now. So we're gonna put a screen GUI. We'll call this shop GUI, and then I'll insert a frame. And we'll make this frame, we're going to drag it. And of course, dragging is not recommended. I don't recommend that. There you go. Just have to move it. And scaling as well. You should never drag anything on your screen or scale it. It's just really too risky, and it just the calculations, the positioning, it doesn't make sense sometimes. So I don't recommend dragging. But as you can see, if I move, it might stay in the center. But depending on the situation, let's say that we go into a different window. We'll make this centered. And we go into a different device. You can see that it's not centered on the different devices. So I have it on the iPad, I have it on the iPhone, and it's just not in the perfect center of the screen. So what the heck is going on? How do I fix this? Well, it's very easy to do that. Go inside the frame, go into AnchorPoint, make the AnchorPoint 0.5, and that will just make it so this dot right here is actually reflected on the actual frame's position of the center instead of that right corner right there. So the AnchorPoint 0.5, and then also go to position, make it 0.5 as well. So it's right for just the xScale and the yScale, okay, not the offsets. So the offset is the 0 and the 0 right here. So we're not talking about the offset. The offset's like big numbers like 100, 200, 300, 400. Those are the numbers that you should never use. You should never use the offset, guys. I recommend that. And just use position. So position is based off of 0 to 1. And we'll just do, that's for the xScale and the yScale. And we'll just make this 0.5 and 0.5 for the yScale. 0.5 for the yScale. There you go. And now it's actually centered on the screen and everything looks good, right? Well, no, the size as well has to be xScale and yScale as well. It's on, as you can see, 211. That's not from 0 to 1. That's the offset, xOffset and yOffset. So we're going to have to make this from 0. We're going to have to make the xOffset and the yOffset 0 and 0. So 0 and 0. And then the xScale, we're going to make it to it goes from 0 to 1. So if we put 1, it would actually be the entire screen. And then from the size of this one, 1 would be the entire screen, while 0 would be nothing. So we filled the entire screen. So we'll make this actually 0.8. So because it's like a shop GUI, we want to see a little bit of the background and then 0.8 again. And you could look at different devices and you could see, wow, it's actually working. So we're going to go into device emulator. And as you can see, it's actually going to stay centered. And iPhone X, it will stay centered. iPhone 7, my bad, it will stay centered. And iPhone 14 Pro, it's still centered. iPad 6s, still centered. And it will be the same size no matter the screen length. And another way to check this out, instead of doing device emulator, is you could even resize your actual desktop on the screen. So now we'll call this screen background. The frame, we'll call it background. And we're going to make a little shop GUI, for example, to continue to use these numbers, the xScale and the yScale, and I'll do it together with you guys. So we're going to be inside here, we're going to insert a top bar. So we'll put another frame. And inside of this frame, I'll show you guys that the size is reflected on whatever is inside the parent. So that means that whatever I set this to, if I set this to the size 1 and 1, it will reflect on the parent that it's parented to. So the 1 of 1 of this is actually going to equal the same size as the frame itself. There you go. As you can see, that if we put a background frame inside of the frame, so a frame inside of a frame, and we make the size 1 of 1, it will equal the actual frame itself. So it duplicates on top of each other. It's just 2 pages basically over each other with the same exact size. If we make the X scale 1 and the Y scale 1 as well. Okay, that's just for you guys to know that. And now we're going to make a top bar. So the top bar, we're going to go into anchor point. We're going to make the anchor point 0.5 and then 0. And the reason we want this anchor point to be 0 is so it doesn't go to the middle, but it goes to the top corner right here. So we'll make it 0.5 and then 0 for the anchor point. Enter that. And as you can see, it gets off the screen. We're just going to have to readjust it with the positioning. Position is 0.5 or position. And there you go. And now it's centered again. So we just basically kept it, but we just moved the anchor point. And the anchor point's important just to make the screen nice and clean. We'll make the size of this. So the anchor point's right here. So that means it's reflected on this position right here. And we'll make the size 0.1. Oh no, that's for the X scale. So we're going to go to the Y scale and we'll make it 0.1. There you go. And as you can see, as soon as we moved it right here from the Y scale to 0.1, this is going to be 0.1. So 10% of the entire frame is 0.1. So 0.1 is basically 10%. 10% of the actual frame it's inside of. And we'll make this a different color. We'll make this like, make it light blue. Maybe we'll make it light blue. And now we have the top bar, and we'll call this frame top bar. Inside the background GUI, make sure it's not inside the top bar, okay? Because it's based on the parents of it. So background, we're going to insert inside background. We'll insert the scrolling frame. Scrolling frame. And now this is how we can scroll in our shop GUI system. And we'll put this, so remember, this is taking 0.1 on the Y scale. On the Y, the Y scale. So the scrolling GUI, we're going to make the size 0, 0. And we'll make the size 1. Well, actually, I did this before, so just follow through and I'll explain it after. So just make this 0.98 and then make this 0.9 on the Y scale, 0.9, just like that. And we'll make the anchor point 1, 1. So anchor point right here, 1, 1, 1, comma 1. And so it's going to be off the screen, right? And now position is the most important part. The position is going to be 1, 1. 1 on the X scale and 1 on the Y scale. 1, 1. There you go. So what do we do here? So as you can see, there's a little area right here that we didn't fill in. And on this side, we have the bar as well. So as you can see, I made it so this side has no area and this side has the area. So when we put the frames in, it would have a gap right here. And we're going to make a gap for the scrolling bar right here because we don't, when we're using it, we don't want the scrolling bar to be inside the frame, if that makes sense. So it makes it perfectly, well, I can make this a different color just to show you guys even better. So if I make this orange, you can see that there's a little gap here, and that's just to represent this gap right here. And we'll make the background and the scrolling frame the same color. So if I press Control and I hit the background and the scrolling frame, I can click select multiple. So Control CTRL on your keyboard. And I just hit the Control and I hit background. So I can hit multiple. So Control and I can click scrolling frame and click background. And now we're going to make these both the same color. Background transparency, background color. we'll make this yellow. Nice. It looks too bright for me. I'm gonna make this pale yellow. It looks good. Looks like a retro, kind of like basic. And now inside the scrolling frame is where we're gonna be actually adding. So we're gonna be using something called a UI list layout. And the UI list layout, I'll just show you right now. If I insert a lot of frames in here, it will basically continue the line of that. So UI layout is actually really important for a shop system, especially if you want to make a nice list. Because how do you do the list without a UI list layout? It would be like calculating a computer. You know what I mean? The UI list layout, it will just make it 10 times faster. It puts the frames lined up with each other. And so with the padding makes a little gap between each frame. So right now, if I do this, there's no gap. So go into padding inside UI list layout and we'll make the padding 0.04. 0.04. Nice. And then as we insert another frame inside under the scrolling frame, it will have a 0.04 of a gap. And the gap is beautiful. It's a beautiful gap right there. All right. Call this frame, we'll call this stored. So let's just make this our first item, stored. And inside of the stored, we're going to mess around with the size. The anchor point, we don't touch the anchor point because the UI list layout is around the anchor point. It's based off of the anchor point. So it's good to have it in the beginning. So it goes here, goes here, goes here. And the stored, the size is what is important, because if we do this, you can see that the size stays the same no matter the screen. So that's why we're going to go into xScale and then yScale. xScale and yScale. So xScale right here, we'll make this 0.34. And we'll make the yScale. We'll make it like maybe 0.3. You know, looks a little large, but we're gonna have multiple lists, and then when we duplicate it, actually go into the UI list layout. We're gonna make it horizontal just for the fill direction. So horizontal would mean left to right instead of up and down, which is vertical. And we're gonna, as you can see, it gets off the screen. And then we're gonna wrap it. So wrap. So wraps basically makes it so it never gets off of the page. So if we duplicate this, it will go to the next slide, as you can see. And then versus the wrap is off. Bam, you can see it gets off the page. So we don't want that to happen. So we're gonna wrap it. There you go. Wraps under the UI list layout. And now it will go exactly where it's supposed to go. But it looks like the size, we're going to have to play around with the size, 0.215. And that's half of point. Okay, so it's 0.215 and then 0.2 for the size. There you go. Oh no, it's a little off. It's so unnoticeable, but I'm going to make it as perfect as possible. 0.2, so this is the size, 0.2 for the Y scale, and then the X scale is 0.2. It's a little bit too much, so we'll make it 0.14. 0.214 and 0.2. There you go. Looks like it's a little gap that's completely unaware. It will probably do nothing for us, so we're just gonna ignore it because it's so unnoticeable that no one will ever notice it in any term of scale, and it's perfect. It's almost basically perfect. So the size, guys, is right here. is 0.214 and 0.2. Oh, first we got to make the template for every sword. So we're going to go inside sword, and we're going to make a text button. And this text button is going to be on the bottom, like right here, and then on the top is going to be an image. Of course, we're not going to have an image, but you guys will get the image of like a sword or something, and then insert it there if you guys are interested in this shop GUI I'm making. And this text button, we'll call this button name label button. We'll name the text button label button. There you go. So inside the sword, label button, and then for the text, which is the button, text right here is called button. We'll call this button. What do we call this button? Sword. Okay. Took a sec. So sword. We got sword. Make sure that this is called TextScaled. TextScaled is clicked, so it represents any device. And as you can see, it will always stay the same. Well, it's on xScale right now, but if we put this on yScale, I mean, that's on offsets right now. So we got to make this x1, and then the yScale will make it 1. And then we'll remove the offset, offset y, and then xOffset as well, because we never use offsets. Offsets are terrible. Actually, it's the opposite. So this should be 0.1, 0.1 for the yScale, and then 1 for the x. There you go. And make this 0.2. So as you can see, it will stay the same size no matter the size of the frame. And then the problem is, if you didn't have scaling, so if you didn't use TextScaled, we would have to use this number thing. Let's just say the number is like this. And then look at this. We use the text size. And then when we scroll in, it could get off the page. You see that? See the problem? So that's why we always use TextScaled, guys. Remember this. Changes whether text is resized to fit within the text. Always use TextScaled. Whenever you can, just use it. It's automatic, and it will just always stay on just the player screen, no matter the size of the screen. So always use TextScaled. Never use the text size, and it should work perfectly. And we'll make this fancy a little bit. Text stroke is basically, we'll set the transparency 0. It's basically the highlight of it. And we'll just make it like dark brown right here. We'll make the text color light brown or yellow, like that. And then text stroke, we're gonna actually show it, so make it 0. There you go. It looks like a nice sword. Text transparency, and we can make the font a different. Remember, this is gonna represent every weapon. We could maybe change the color for each tool that we're gonna have. But we'll make the font a different font. So where's the font? Source Sans Pro. We'll make this maybe Highway Gothic. I like Highway Gothic. I think it looks really good. And Highway Gothic, that's the one. And we can darken it. Ooh, that looks good. No italics. Italics doesn't look good with it. We'll bold it. So we bolded it so it's nice and thick. Because look at the before and after. There you go. Nice and bold. Very easy to see. Looks like a nice bubble text. Highway Gothic. And now we're going to put this button to the bottom. So we're going to go up here. We're going to make the anchor point 0.5. And the position, well, 0.5. And then the anchor bottom point 1. All right, and the size is 0.2 on the yScale, just to remember that. And now you can see the anchor point is going to be this right here. We're going to put this right in the center with the positions. The position is going to be 0.5, and then the position on the bottom will be 1. There you go. Now it's on the bottom. Perfect. And I'll add a UI. I like to do this. I like to add a background first, so we can see what the heck I'm doing. So we'll do this, and then the UI, we'll add a UI corner like that, nice corner, and we'll make this 360 because it goes to 360 degrees, just like that. And we'll make the background dark blue. So the sword background, we click on sword, the background, which is the template, and we'll make this size. We'll make this a darker color. There you go. As you can see there, that's the fix. Just make it into a dark blue. And we'll make it like a lighter blue a little bit. There you go. Perfect. Light blue, and then we got a cyan color. Cyan and light blue. Oh, this is like dark blue actually. So blue and then cyan. Just normal blue. Man, I don't know. Normal blue is this color. So this is like light blue, I guess. Light blue and cyan. Image button right here. We'll make the size 0, 0, because this is the offset. So that's the X offset 0, Y offset 0. The size is going to be, so this is from left to right. Left to right, we're going to make it 1. And going down, we'll make it 0.8. There you go. Because why did I make it 0.8 and why did it fit perfectly? Because this one is 0.2. From here to here is 0.2. So from here to here is 0.8. And I'm also going to continue to do the anchor point just because it's good practice. I don't know. It just makes it look nice. So we'll make the anchor point 0.5 and we'll make the positioning 0.5. There you go. So it's basically did the same thing. Position 0.5, anchor point 0.5. Just for that one. And then who cares about it? It will stay on the top bar. Because if it has to stay, because if we make this 0.5, then how do we measure the top of, or how do we reflect the top if it's like in the middle? You know, the middle would be like right here. So yeah, just keep it how it is, guys. Keep it how it is. I guess we could get a sword image from Toolbox just so I can show you guys how to do that. And so inside the creator hub, the toolbox, creator hub, no, just the toolbox. Search up decals. Decals, 2D assets. There you go. And we'll search up sword. Get a nice sword image from someone else. The problem is, what if they delete it? You know, sometimes they can delete their own decals, and then once that happens, it won't work on your page as well. So you could get one. You could get the decal from Roblox. The Roblox's default sword. Put it in starter pack. Inside the tool, how do we get the icon? The same icon. So we go into classic sword, and we can see right here texture ID or texture content. We can just copy that and then insert it into the image button, and we'll get the exact same image. There you go. And if it's not perfect, but it looks good. I mean, I guess this is how it looks, right? So we know it's never going to get taken down because it's Roblox. Roblox would never take their own sword down from their, like, right, guys? You know what I'm saying? And we'll make the background. We'll make the background a different color. Make it like, I don't know, orange. Oh no, that's not true. That's the image color. Image. The background color. There you go. Nice. It looks good. Looks good. And that's our template, guys. And then we can, you know, script it, you know, button click, and then fire the remote event to the server, and then insert the clone the sword into the backpack of the player.backpack. And of course, the player transports with the remote event. So you don't even have to get the player inside the server side. You just get the player from the remote event. So yeah, that's how you would do that. And then we could just duplicate this a few times. We'll call this one something simple like club. Image, we got to get the image. This takes time and stuff. And then, of course, the height is you want to change the height of the scrolling frame. You go inside the scrolling frame, they're going to have a height in there. Right here, it's canvas size. The Y scale, right? 6.1. Of course, we're going to have to adjust the Y scale. But as you can see, the scrolling is much, much less because, well, you got to adjust it's very easy to do this, but go into the scrolling frame. Go into the buttons, right click them, or not right click, control to hit multiple, CTRL, and then click sort and club to hit multiple. And then we'll make the size 0.4. There you go. We just readjusted the size of each of the buttons. So now, it's bigger. And we can just, what I mean? And of course, if it's too small, it would not move at all. But that's why you got to make sure you have enough buttons, resize and move the buttons around. It better have a lot of stuff inside the UIAScale, guys. So, yeah, that's that. And we could just duplicate this. We'll call this one club, and we'll make this, the text, we'll make this club. And of course, the image will come with it. You can keep the same color. I'll make the color of the actual text different. Make the club, club is kind of brown. We'll make it brown. And we'll make the text stroke red. There you go, club. You see, so, and then we'll continue. You go to the next one, and then you go to the next one, and duplicate this. Make sure the text is wrapped. So go into UI list layout, make sure it's wrapped. Looks like that didn't save from what we did before. Wrapped. There you go. And then, of course, you can see what to expect. And we're going to mess up with the canvas and mess with the buttons around because the canvas represents the button size as well. So, yeah, we'll go into the canvas. We want to make the canvas bigger. How do we do that? Go into the scrolling frame. Go into the canvas size, and we'll make this 0.222, so we'll have more space. And then we'll underline all this buttons. So hold down, underline, and then we'll make this the size of the Y scale 0.2. There you go. And then we can just keep expanding it as well. So it's pretty straightforward, guys. I don't think it's hard to see what to do now. There you go. And that's the shop system, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I guess we'll add an X in the corner, and then we'll put an X inside the background. So actually inside the top bar, because we could put it inside the top bar. We'll put a text button. We'll call this exit. And we'll put this in the top right corner, or top middle corner, 0.5. And actually, no, all the way to the right. So we want this anchor point. So on the X scale, we'll make it, there you go. And we'll push it all the way to the corner. Positioning. all the way in the corner is 1, not 0.5, 0.5, 1. And then in the bottom, make it 0.5. There you go. And it should have a little gap. So instead of the position, we'll do 0.975, 0.975. There you go. Just to add a little gap there. And then the size, make sure we never use X offset and Y offset because that's bad. 0 and 0. And this is going to be kind of hard, but we just got to look. 0.1. 0.1. Oh, no. It could be like this. Actually, yeah. It will actually be an exit. Instead of an X button, we'll make an exit button. We'll say exit. It could be an X. We'll make it an X. But if you guys want to do this, yeah, you can make it like exit button right there. But we'll make it an X button just because. And then the size on the Y scale is good. The size on the X scale is what's too big. 0.05. There you go. Hard to see. It's 0.025. Not bad. 0.025. We'll make it 0.3. 0.03. Yeah, not bad. And then you can see on the screen, it will continue to stay. It gets a little smaller because, of course, you shrink the screen, you shrink the button. 0.05. And then for the Y scale, we'll do 0.75. There you go. That looks perfect. Make sure that the text is scaled. So for the button's text, right here, down here, make it bold italic. We'll make it animatic. No, we'll do like, we'll keep it basic, highway gothic, I guess, again, and no bold text. Keep it regular. We'll make the text X for exit, and we'll make it text scaled. Text scaled. Where's text scaled? Right there. Nice. And we'll make the background. We'll add a circle. So UI corner, and we'll make the UI corner 360 degrees. So it's a perfect circle. Nice. And we'll make the background red. Of course, when you hover over the button, it will have that. As you guys can see, it would be the same. You could add the sound inside the script. It will be on the client side, so you could do a local script sound. Make sure anytime you use a starter GUI, just use local scripts. No problem in using local scripts in a starter GUI. No point in using server scripts because that's to represent multiple people, and starter GUI is to represent one screen. So don't. And of course, the starter GUI will be in. You can see the player's GUI inside players.player, the player's name. Like, let's say my player's name is don't use real because that's my username. If you run the game, and then you'll see inside the player scripts, inside the players, because that's where we get where this starter GUI clones. It creates the player GUI. And inside the players, it will be player GUI. Okay, and you will see your own screen. So everyone has their own screen. So you use local scripts inside starter GUI. And yeah, we got the X. We'll just do a different color, and that will be the wrap of the video on the exit button. And yeah, text button will make it nice and dark red. And the background will make it red. There you go, guys. That's the button. It's a little hard to see, but it's nice and red. And of course, if we hovered it over it, we'll move this right here. There you go. There you go, guys. This is our shop GUI system. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.